Hi everyone, Adele here from Kingdom Initiatives and the All Shall Prosper movement. Today we are continuing with our leadership with regard to leading in a godly way. We're going to be covering a powerful topic today around your team that you lead. And you might say to me, I am a solopreneur, I don't have a team that I lead. Well, this could apply to your family. This could apply to an organization you're involved in community work. Wherever you are in a leadership role, what we're going to share today is all about how God has wired people specifically and how we can use those strengths so that they can operate at their best, enjoy fulfilling the role they have in our company or our organization, and you as a leader can get the best of them, knowing that you're tapping into God's gifting in their life. So today we're speaking about people's strengths and the way that they're wired according to the way that they have been woven together in their mother's womb. So we know in Psalm 139, the Lord speaks about how He knits us together in our mother's womb. And that isn't something that He just said lightly. When I think about that, I think about the hands of God with almost like these heavenly knitting needles, weaving every single fiber of our being together in our mother's womb. And as the hand of God and His fingerprints is in that moment of development of who we are, He knits us together with the strength that He wants us to have for what He wants us to do in the world around us. Now, this talks about the strengths that you have. It talks about the strengths that other people have. The Lord has specifically engineered us with specific giftings when it comes to how we are wired so that we can add the most value to the world around us. Now, we're going to have a look at some skills applications of this, and we're going to have a look at behavioral skills, strengths as well. So skills, strengths, and behavioral skills. So let's just first of all start off with looking at the skill set that we have, our tangible skills. Now, these are things that we as people learn along the way. We learn how to do Excel, we learn new AI tools, we learn physical, tangible skills, which we then use to apply to our work. Looking at your physical skills like that, those tangible skills that we learn, it's really important as a leader to make sure that we have upskilled the people that we have in our businesses, in our organizations, and even our family members, thinking about our children. How are we equipping the people around us to be the best people they can be from a skills perspective in the workplace? Are you training them? Are you coaching them? Are you mentoring? Are you guiding? Are you instructing? Are you sharing knowledge? Why must people go and learn the hard way? Why don't we take what we have in our mind and impart that to them? And if it's something that we need them to have from an outsider where we don't have that skill, why are we not sending them on training and develop them in these areas? I can tell you that your job as a leader is going to be so much easier when you have people who can run in their roles, who can perform so strong in their roles because they are equipped with the skills that they need in order to do what they need to do. If you ask me to do a spreadsheet for you, and I've never engaged with Excel, how long is it going to take me to do it? But if I've been skilled in how to work Excel and you ask me to do a spreadsheet for you, wow, I'm going to love the journey. I'm going to put together the best spreadsheet for you, and I'm going to do it in record time. That is the power of upskilling people and growing their skill set, equipping them so that they can perform at their best. This is what we as leaders need to do in order to be able to not just equip them, but also to be able to get the best out of them in our families, in our organizations, and in our companies. Now, the next thing I'd like to look at is the way that we're wired from a behavioral strengths perspective. Now, this is really, really key to underpinning everything that we do. God has woven into us a specific DNA structure that has specific strengths in the area of our brain wiring. We call this behavioral profiling in the workplace. Now, once again, you can use this in a family setting, in a business setting, or if you're involved in a community organization like your church or a non-profit, this works exactly the same there. What we find is that there are 4 main profiles that people have, and all of the behavioral profiling that you do, if you're going to do an assessment, will have these 4 main profiles. They just call them different things. In my world, we like to use the DISC profile. So we use the DISC acronym. DISC meaning D stands for driver, dominant driver. I standing for inspirational inspirer. And then influencer, so it's dominant driver, inspirational influencer. The S stands for steady, stable, and then the C stands for cautious, compliant. Now, what we find is that everybody is a mixture of 2 more dominant ones, and one will be the most dominant. So everybody is, at any stage in their life, they can be a driver, they can be an inspirer or an influencer, they can be steady, stable, and they can be cautious, compliant, depending on the situation. So it's not like a thing of you are or you aren't. It's a case of which one are you more like. And if we look at most people's breakdown of their behavioral profiling, they will have 2 more dominant styles, and one will be the most dominant out of all of the 4 that we look at. Now, why is this important? If you have somebody who has a profile that is not aligned to what you're asking them to do in your organization, they're going to find it incredibly difficult to do because their brain isn't wired that way. I'll give you some examples in just a moment. If you are programmed in a specific way with your DNA, and then your job role and your skills that you've been equipped with are lining up with that natural wiring that you have, you will find that you as an individual will not only do it easier, but you'll love what you're doing because it's what you're naturally programmed to do. So let me give you an example. I'm not a detail-orientated person. So if you give me spreadsheets, if you give me lots of terms and conditions, fine print, man, I'm not interested. I must be honest. I give that to somebody else to dissect, somebody that's good at that. But I love focusing on vision and driving big projects and achieving great things. Now, I've learned that I do need to understand the fine print. And I do need to understand the smaller, finer details. I need that, but I'm not necessarily good at it. So I love it when there's people around me that can do that for me. And those people generally aren't visionary drivers. They love it when I'm driving the vision and they're able to do what they're good at, which is check out the analytical detail in terms and conditions, for example. And so the Lord has so designed us that we need everyone around us. No matter what your profiling is, you need everyone around you because we all complement each other with our skills. And no team is complete without all of the profiles being represented in the team. So whether you are a dominant driver, a visionary, which is the inspirational influencer, whether you are steady, stable, or whether you're mainly cautious, compliant, you have a very specific role in your organization to play. And I'm going to ask you to embrace your strength and bring that strength to your organization. At the same time, I'm going to ask you to bring a lot of support to those who are operating in a different personality profile or behavioral profile. When they bring their strengths, encourage it. It might be different to yours. It might look different. You might have different opinions on things, but they are operating from their area of strength, and the business or the organization needs the different perspectives. So let's have a look at these 4 behavioral profiles, and then you might be able to almost say, okay, well, I think I'm this one primarily, and then secondarily the following one. And then you can sort of understand yourself and who you are and what you bring to the world. The key then is not just to understand yourself, but to understand the people around you, and especially if you're in a leadership role, so that you can understand the strength that they bring to your team, and then make sure that what you're asking them to do is in line with that strength. This is the way that any team operates. If you've got a team on the field, that team will have the best player for the role in that team, in that position on the field. This is what's really, really important to know, is that your business team is exactly the same as a sports team. You will take the person who is the best kicker or the best shooter, whatever it is, depending on the game you're playing, the sport that you're participating in. You will place the best person for that position in that position. It's the same in any organization. And you need to know, not only from a skills perspective, but from a brain wiring perspective, from a DNA perspective, what is the person's skill, and how do I put the person with the right wiring, then give them the right skills in the job that aligns with that, so that they can be the best player on the field of your business. So dominant driver is the first one. Now, a dominant driver talks about someone who likes to achieve things, someone who likes a goal and something to chase, something to drive towards. They want to achieve things in the world, right? They want targets. They're driven by targets. They're driven by results. This is someone who picks up a project and loves to run with that project and loves to make things happen. They're a driver. They make things happen. Your inspirational influencer is someone who loves to dream big and think about vision. This is the person that comes up with the vision, comes up with the plan. They don't necessarily drive it, but they're the one that has the great ideas or thinks about the best ways to improve things. They're the one that loves to communicate those ideas with people and then bring people into the vision and get people to support the vision. This is your visionary or your inspirational person. And then influencer is the part where they love to bring people into that process of getting behind the vision and buying into the vision. The drivers are usually the ones that pick up the vision and run with it once the inspirational influencer has thought of the vision. Then you get your steady, stable person. This is the person who loves people, loves systems, loves structures, loves peace and harmony, wants to know what they're doing. They don't really like change. They like to know every day what they're doing, when they're doing it. They love people to be in harmony. And so they are your steady, stable people. They love to have calm, they love structures, they love to come in and do the same thing every day. They are just the backbone of every organization because they keep whatever the visionary, inspirer and influencer has visioned going and the driver has got going. The steady stable people keep it going. So where the visionaries come up with the idea and the drivers get them going, the steady stable people keep great ideas going. They're also the great harmony and peacekeepers in any organization. And then you get your cautious compliance. These are the people that love excellence. They love to put checklists in place and they love to check the fine print and make sure that things are researched well. They're analytical people. They like to check things out before we go ahead with them. They love to make sure that we do things properly with a standard of excellence. And so when you look at these profiles, you've got your dominant driver who makes things happen. You've got your inspirer and your influencer who is the one that thinks of new ideas and creates new things. Then you think about the steady, stable person who loves to keep systems and structures going and harmony in the workplace. And then you think about the cautious, compliant person who loves to do things with the standard of excellence and do research and do the analytics behind projects. You can see how we would need everyone in a team, right? So we need everyone. One profile isn't better than another. All of the profiles together make us a great team. Now, this is how we honor God. By understanding the people that He's created, putting them in positions that align with their DNA, and then allowing them to flourish in the workplace and to shine. So if you have jobs and roles that require things to be driven, like sales and targets and production targets, you're going to want a driver in there, right? If you're looking for new ideas and you're needing things to be communicated well with the team and the team to be brought into the vision of where we're taking this organization or this business, you're going to want to tap into your inspirational influencers. If if you are looking for systems and structures to be developed, or you're looking for someone to bring harmony and peace to the team and to settle the team, you're going to want to bring your stable people into that process. And if you want something to be researched, or you're wanting to create checklists behind the systems and structures, and you're wanting to bring that sense of excellence and compliance into a project or into your organization, you're going to want to bring the cautious, compliant people in and include them in that project. As I've been explaining things, you've probably been thinking, okay, I could be a driver, inspirer, or maybe I'm a steady, stable, cautious, compliant individual. You would have probably highlighted too that you think, oh, those two are more like me. If you know what your strengths are, play to them. Play to your strengths. And then allow people to play to their strengths. Honor the way that God has wired people together by looking at what their natural behavioral strengths are, looking at how they're wired. Okay, this is how they're made up, so they'll be best placed for certain roles. Then give them the equipping, the skills that they need behind that. Give them what they require to be the best player on the field. And then make sure that your business celebrates the different strengths. The team members celebrate each other, that there's no competition. We understand that everyone brings their best game to the team. When it's your turn to be strong for the team and be the strength of the team because you have certain skills or you have certain behavioral strengths, own it. Bring your best to the team. When someone else is bringing their best to the team, celebrate it. Don't see it as someone taking the shine. We all shine, just we shine different ways. If you are a leader, make sure that you align people's natural wiring, their behavioral profiling, with the jobs that you've got them in, and then give them the strengths of the skills that they need to be strong in that role. And that is how you take a business, knowing and understanding how God has woven them together, then equipping them with the additional skill sets to complement how God has woven them together in the role that they are. And you get to then take your business from strength to strength by leveraging the strengths that are in your team. And so, Father, I just want to pray for every leader today, that they would have your divine insight, that they would be able to understand themselves and the strengths that they bring to the team, knowing that they can't bring every strength, even though they are the leader. I pray for them as they look at their teams, Father, that you would help them to understand the strengths that you've woven into the DNA of every one of their staff members or their team members. And then I pray, Lord, that they would be able to see those strengths and they'd be able to put wind under the sails of the strengths that you have woven into the people that you love, that you've designated to work for them, and that they would enable people to be the best that they can be. And as they do that, Father, that you would bless their businesses abundantly, and that they would be a great team in the game of business. And Father, as every team member gives their best, that their businesses would go from strength to strength. In Jesus' name, amen.